Well, here we go, episode number 24 of the Future Motocross Radio. We are here at the Day in the Dirt down south in Dade City Motocross in Dade City, Florida. We've got our very first guest sitting right next to us, a friend of ours that we know a little bit about, Mr. Pooh Sipes.
How's it going, guys?
Sugar Shane.
Yeah, we got a lot of guests coming, and I'm glad to have Pooh be the first one.
Me and you both. So you can obviously tell we're here at the event. We've got a lot of different things going on. We got the RedBull signing happening right now.
Yep.
As you can tell in the background, Mr. Pooh Sipes, the defending Ironman champion. Tell me about today. Tell me about the event.
So this one guy had a crazy idea that TJ should build me a 500 to ride. I don't think... RJ, have you ever rode Day in the Dirt?
I did.
Did you?
I did. I rode Day in the Dirt the very first year.
Yep, how many classes did you do?
Well, actually, that year, because it was the COVID year, it got shut down on the first night.
So you didn't even, you didn't get the full effect?
No, I did not.
So you thought it was a good idea for me to ride a CR500?
I think it's a great idea.
And try to do the Ironman?
Yes.
And defend my title?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I thought it seemed like a fun idea, but now I can't really hold on. I've been taping my hands. There's still blisters, like plenty of blisters, and no, it's fun. It's I wish I was in better shape, but hey, I'm beating some people, so I'm not getting last. Pretty pumped about that.
Hey, as a defending champ, is your strategy on that 500 different this year?
No. See, last year I came here. Well, Ryan got hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna train and ride because he was the Ironman champ the year before. I'm like, all right, I want to keep it in the family. I want to train and ride, get the Ironman. Turns out, didn't do any training or ride. Actually, I rode one day, and then came here on my 150 underpowered, and because of that, I had no expectations. I just went out, I had fun. Like, yeah, obviously I'm a racer. I want to go to the front. But I came out and no expectations. I think that's the only reason I got it, to be honest. There was no nerves, I just went out and I rode and ripped the 150 and had fun and didn't care as much about, what I got, and it turned out great. Like, I stayed off the ground and was consistent. And, but yeah, then you put me on a 500, completely different. Like, last year I was like, man, it would be cool, the coup de grace. It was like an hour and 45 minutes last year. I was like, oh. So I was like, the whole time that I was riding that on the 150, I'm like, man, it would be so nice to have a 450. Now that I'm tired, I don't have to be going, yeah. A 450, you can just go, whoop, whoop. I'm like, oh, that would be so nice right now. But the 150's light, I can throw it around. And then it's completely opposite this year. I can go whoa, whoa, but I can't hang on to the thing. It's a CR500.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Like I was saying last year that it would be nice to have more power. Now I'm thinking it would be nicer to be on the 150. But either way, it's fun. It's an experience. I don't know if anybody's ever won the Ironman on a 500. So
I don't know.
If it don't happen this year, maybe we actually train and ride and come back and try it again.
Is there any additional pressure this year because you're on a 500? Like, are you putting more pressure on yourself as far as like doing a back-to-back on this thing?
No, actually I'm not, because
you're over it? Like, are you already over it?
No, I'm not over it. Obviously it's awesome to go out and ride, but there's not any pressure. Like, I mean, it was a last minute build. He didn't have much time to do it. I've been jetting on the thing in practice.
Yeah, in between every moto.
Yeah, in practice, a 125 would beat it. Like, I didn't know what to do. We swapped carbs and we went leaner and leaner and leaner. Now it runs good, but now I can't. I think it has more power potential, but I don't want it because I can barely hang on it as it is. But it's running good now. And then Ronnie 612 and my guy Rob Brown at Race Tech hooked me up with some 6 suspension. Didn't get time to test it because I didn't really get to ride it before this, but It's good. Click here, click there, and track's gnarly. It's going to be, I don't care what suspension you have, it's gnarly.
Well, anybody that's looking for this bike to understand what you're doing, I mean, obviously you can go to the Future Motocross Instagram, website, YouTube channels. we've been putting this stuff up all week long. We've had a lot of help. Our good friends at Pirelli got us the tires hooked up on that thing. So for Pirelli, Step Up MX with the graphics on it, like you mentioned, Race Tech suspension, bringing the gold valve kit to it. Ronnie Monk with 612 is a Race Tech dealer here locally. So, you know, having all the help and the people that came involved with it, obviously we've got.
Oh, don't forget Carson Brown and his dad.
Yeah, working on it until 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they help. I mean, they ride these things, so they know.
Yeah.
So I was like, and he's my teammate. So luckily, in practice yesterday, I was like, man, this thing's kind of slow. And I didn't want to be the complainer, you know, like, sorry, TJ, your bike kind of sucks. I didn't want to be that guy, but I was like, Carson, you know what these are supposed to do.
We got to figure it out.
Well, I was like, you know what this is supposed to do. I was like, go 2 laps in practice, pull off, switch me bikes. So we swapped bikes. I got on his, well, it's actually Robbie's 94 CR250, and I almost looped out because it was so much faster than the 500. And I'm like, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And he rode it. He said the same thing. He's like, it feels good down low, and it just falls on its face as soon as you come out of the corner.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, huge thanks to those guys, Wayne and Carson, helping me out and figuring this thing out.
Yeah.
I did walk on the back of the bike, so in the Future Motocross tent, and I did see that Pirelli held up, because there's a long pavement section here, and that Pirelli held up pretty damn good.
Yeah, better than I thought, honestly. I mean, it still has at least half knobby, and I was on a 500 wide open on the pavement.
You should be throwing you should be throwing knobs off that thing, and that Pirelli held up pretty good.
It did. It held up really good, and like tire pressure is. I always ran less than I am here, but Nick at Pirelli was like, hey, try 13.5. I went 13.5 and I haven't looked back. It's great.
Yeah.
So they held up great.
I feel like you put up some pretty good results today.
I don't even know. A couple like that.
Just from watching. I haven't looked at the overall results, but you actually put up some pretty good results just by watching the races. Like, you were up front.
I think me and Carson won the team race in the moto industry class, and in the 30 plus, that last one I did, I thought I was like 15th. Yeah. Ryan said I got 3rd. Sam said I got 5th. So I'm not real sure, but better than I thought I was.
Yeah. Well, so, we're still working through some of that.
Well, and I need to figure out how to get a start. That time I rushed, and it was going to be mint, but the bike didn't go into gear.
Yeah.
And I let the clutch out, neutral, everybody took off.
Yeah.
So starting in the back, couldn't see much, it was a little dusty, but worked the way up, I guess. So I'm told. I had no idea what place I was in.
Yeah, no doubt.
As far as this event, like, what is your take on this event compared to other events? Like, obviously, it's a lot different than anything you would go to.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think people have told me that funnest is not a word, but this is the funnest race I've ever done. That's why I came. I guess the year after COVID year, I came here, raced it, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do that every year. It's the most fun race because it's not so serious. Right? I mean, we start like before he waves the flag, we got to have our hand on our helmets, and then it's whoever can pull in the clutch, put it in gear, and take off. Like it's not a gate drop. Like, it's just fun. Everybody's just having fun, and I plan on not missing it for a long time.
As long as they, keep having it here, we're always going to be here.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we're locals here to Dade City, so.
Yeah, it ain't far to drive the semi over.
Well, it's just so much fun. I mean, it's a completely different atmosphere than everything, like you just mentioned. I mean, it's not as serious as doing some of the other things, like when we go race Supercross, or we're in outdoors doing motocross, or even amateur side on our AMA, nationals or the AMA majors. I mean, it's such a different event because the pressure's not there. It's so much more fun. You can get to hang out with people and come and go, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we enjoy this event. Yes, it is local for us, but even if it wasn't, I would still want to attend it because it is that much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. The first year I did it, I still lived in Kentucky at the time.
Yeah.
I came down with Ryan because he was going to ride down here, but yeah, there's people that travel crazy amounts. They don't even ride dirt bikes, and they'll drive 12 hours just to race this.
Oh, I saw
It's that much
license
fun.
plates from Indiana, Illinois,
Oh, yeah.
all over the map.
Actually, I think a bunch of my buddies from back home in Kentucky drove down. I've been working on the 500, so I haven't really got to visit much. But I think we got it pretty figured out. I got to change a tire tonight, and other than that, I should be able to hang out with these guys. But
Well, Pooh, we always enjoy having you around. You're a huge asset to our program, and we greatly appreciate you. We're glad that you're having fun on the event, but we still got tomorrow to go, and we'll get it sorted out.
Yeah,
Well,
good
we
luck
good.
tomorrow.
thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Pooh.
Hi.
Oh, man.
Do a quick change out here, and we'll get going again here.
I think the next guy we have coming up is Mr. Tyler Behrman.
Mr. TB himself joining us. So good to see you, TB. And, you know, I know everything with this event obviously is so much fun, man. We really get to enjoy having a good time here. But I wanted to ask you, tell me what's fun with this thing for you to be able to separate it from different events other than, you know, just the normal grind.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like, you kind of nailed the head on that one. It's all about fun. That's all it is. It's like results don't really matter. My teammate, I was actually teamed up with Jason Baker from Dream Tracks, his kid.
Yeah.
And he was on the 80, and he really wanted to win. But I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter if we win or not.
Yeah.
It's all about fun. As long as you have fun out there, that's all that matters. And the chaos of the team races is also really, really fun and very entertaining for the fans.
No doubt. You've had a week down here in Florida, right? You've been down here. You had this whole, I saw your social media stuff and all your channels and your posts. Tell me about what's been going on with you.
Yeah, so I came down here for Daytona Supercross, did some vlog stuff, and we're calling it Dirty Bike Week, and we did some vlogs and
Dirty
stuff
Bike Week.
around Bike Week. So this is Dirty Bike Week. We went to Daytona, watched Supercross, and cheered on all the boys, and then left on Sunday, went to Moto Sandbox and spent the week at Moto Sandbox until I got here, and did some filming, also vlog stuff leading up to this event, kind of promoting Day in the Dirt down south here, and also did some filming for Imagination that you guys will see in the future. Probably can't say the exact date, but probably look around June.
I saw that, like, it seemed like you and Kenny were out there together.
Yeah, it was awesome. My goal going down there was, you know, I've been talking to Kenny a lot and been trying to poke the bear of Kenny Roxon to get him to come to Imagination, because he's not really under Honda contract and he's not obligated outdoors this year.
Right.
So him having some free opportunity there for some free time, trying to get him to come out, and it was really cool because he was out testing with his team and riding Supercross motos, and then he comes off straight off the moto on the Supercross track with his whole team there, team managers, and saw me hitting the jump, the 150-foot third gear wide open jump, and he came out and followed me off at one time and gave it a go right after that. So respect, and I will say something about doing a jump like that, it makes you feel alive. And I wasn't very good at Supercross when I raced it, but the best I ever did on a weekend was after having fun and free riding all week. So I mark my words, Kenny's gonna have to put his money where my mouth is and prove me right, but I think it's a jump to make you feel alive, and he came in with a huge smile on his face, and he looked like he was having a good time. So I'm stoked on it.
I think he was more stoked on posting that out of anything out of this whole week.
Oh yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at it earlier when I was laying down after my moto, and I was looking at my phone and finally looking at Instagram, and I was like, damn, that thing has 2 million views. So
It's unbelievable.
Kenny's giving the people what they want to see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love to see it.
Dude, that's awesome. So how many races are you going to be doing here this weekend?
You know, it's funny because every single year at Day in the Dirt, I sign up for every class that I can, and I pretty much race the whole time because I really enjoy kind of the grind of it, I guess, and I kind of like the struggle, so I kind of feed off of that. But this year I had a long week, a lot of testing, a lot of big jumps. Sorry, not a lot of testing, a lot of jumping, a lot of big jumps, and hard landing. So my body's pretty sore. And I only signed up for 3 classes this weekend, kind of make it easy on myself. But after today, my teammate, his bike broke, so I got to do the whole 75-minute team race by myself. So maybe I'll just have to slide in there for that coup de grace the survival race, because I really like suffering out there. So.
Oh man. That's a long one right there, the 75 minutes. Well, TB, we always enjoy having you here, but just anything want to wrap up with on the event and being here this weekend at the Day in the Dirt down south.
Yeah, it's been an amazing Dirty Bike Week, and really, really stoked to be here again. This is the 4th year of this event, and it's basically, I like to call it the Woodstock of motocross. It really is. It's a party with a racing problem.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be here, and it's cool to see all the fans, everyone all here for the general idea to just have fun and ride dirt bikes. And,
no doubt.
And good friends, cold beers, and dirt bikes. What more can you ask for? So thank you Fast House, thank you RedBull, thank you Dade City and Randy and everyone involved to put this event together, and it's only getting better year after year.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely getting bigger, and we're glad to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
So much, man. Well, good to chat with Mr. TB. We enjoy having him here every time.
I think next up we got another Sipes on the chopping block.
Oh, is that the General? Is that the General? Come on in, the General himself. We actually got to enjoy some old country music last night. Ryan and I were singing some songs at the camper and enjoying ourselves. And again, it just kind of goes to how this whole event is. It's such a fun event. It's such a, friends and family, and it's not so much seriousness and pressure. And Ryan, with you, especially with your professional career, it's got to be a change to break up some of the seriousness of Supercross and all the outdoors and everything that you've done. So, it's got to be somewhat of a relief to come and just have a fun event.
Yeah, the cool thing about it to me is you can come here and just have fun, but there's also the competitive part of it, because we all go out there and we're like, yeah, we're going to have fun, but then you go out there and you pin it, and you try to pass the guy or pull away or whatever. This is one of the most fun races that I've ever done.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can come back next year and actually race.
Well, Pooh was on here at the very beginning of the episode, but he was talking about, and I think it was the first year you guys came down to do this. You drove from Kentucky to come down and do this event. Is that right?
Yeah, we did, 2021. And I rode the two-stroke all weekend. I won the Ironman award. It was cool. And then Pooh came in and won it last year. So kept it in the family name. We'll see if he can hold down the fort this time.
Still trying to keep it in the family name.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. Hey, so when you did it in 2021, did you race Daytona Supercross the weekend before?
I did. I raced Daytona Supercross 250 class for the TLD gas team. And then the next weekend I didn't have anything going on, so we came here. And Daytona's cool, serious racing is cool, and we need it, but there needs to be more stuff like this, because this is so much fun.
Oh yeah, you look at the amount of people that are here this weekend. The event itself has grown every year, and you can see more and more event entries coming in, more and more people coming in. The parking lot is slap full. I drove out earlier to go pick up Jet, and there's not even a parking spot out there. And you could see it growing and evolving, and I think it just kind of goes to show that, like you said, there needs to be more events like this, where it's fun, it's enjoyable, the pressure is down, and you just get to have a good time, for 3 days.
On your motorcycle.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's why we all got into this. It's because it was fun. And then you bring stuff like this back, and it's like, man, this is like a breath of fresh air. Yeah. I don't have to. If I don't win, it's cool. It's not a big deal. We'll just have fun in the pits afterward,
Yeah.
So I love it.
I liked how Tyler Behrman put it. He's like, this is like the Woodstock of riding dirt bikes. And it is. Like, everybody's dirty. Everybody's got dust in their eyes, having a good time, Yeah.
Well, the course this year to me is even more special because they added the woods in the back, and obviously I enjoy woods racing in the FTR series, and Shane and I do some of that stuff together. But then this year they added that additional section back there in the back. So I know you're not able to ride the entire series, but didn't you get to spin a lap?
I did yesterday for practice. The plan was just one slow lap. I haven't been on a motorcycle. I kept telling people, they say, how long has it been? I say 14 months. And then my wife looked it up. She said 429 days. That made it feel like a lot more, like a lot longer. And it was emotional. Getting on my motorcycle, like putting my gear on, it was like, it's almost like unreal. Is this really happening? And then to go out, we did the one slow lap for Ron. That was awesome. Ron was one of our good buddies. And then, but I couldn't quit there. I had to do a few more. And I picked up the pace a little bit. And got really tired really fast, and decided that was good. I'm out. I stayed safe. I got to ride my motorcycle, and hopefully soon I can get back on it full time.
So for the first time in 429 days.
Yeah.
And you choose this track to do it on.
Yeah, and it was rough. It was not easy. I come out of one corner, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool. I can wheel tap this bump over that bump. And then when I landed from that one, I'm like, well, there's another one. I'll just wheel tap that one. And all of a sudden it was like, I'm landing in the big ones now. Like, I'm just gonna go off the track. I'm not trying to go fast right now. Just go off the track and just chill.
Well, go ahead, Jay.
I just feel that, that everybody here to see you back throwing your leg on the motorcycle is a positive, badass thing. So that's super cool.
Yeah, like I said, it was emotional for me, but for my wife, for my mom and dad, they're here like to kind of just see me ride again, and they sacrificed everything for me growing up to be able to do this, and then to have it taken away like it was, and to get it back is like, I don't know, it's like Christmas, man.
So just for the people watching and listening, what is the Ryan Sipes estimate of when you actually plan to get back on a bike full time?
I hope next month.
Okay.
To be cleared and fully like back on and with no restrictions.
Yeah.
I have some issues that it's going to take some work to get through.
Yeah.
The fitness one, but I still got some nerve issues that are not allowing some muscles to work. So hopefully that stuff's going to start coming back, because otherwise it's going to be an adjustment if those muscles don't work. You know, to have a muscle just not work kind of makes it tough to ride. So hopefully that comes back, because I'll feel a lot better about it. But even if it don't, I'll make it work.
Yeah. Well, the General. I mean, you got the name for a reason, man. One of the toughest guys in the sport ever. And I mean, all the different stuff you do. We look forward to seeing you get back on the bike and go through all those different events and venues. And as always, Ryan, we enjoy having you on the show and love to be around you and your family and everybody. So I mean, Sipes are such great people to me and the show and everybody. So we truly enjoy it. But anybody you want to thank while you're on the episode?
Sure. I mean, RedBull, #1, they stuck with me. I didn't, like I said, 429 days, I didn't step a leg over a motorcycle, and that's a long time that I wasn't, a value to the company, and they stuck with me, and they say, as long as you're, if there's a chance, we're sticking with you. So
that's awesome.
Them and, everybody, my wife, my mom and dad, all the people that make it go, keep it going,
No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, again, we appreciate you coming on the episode and the show, and as always, good to have you around, and we greatly appreciate your time of being here.
I sure hope your brother keeps it in the family name on this Ironman deal.
On the 500 too.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him most out of anybody. So I can't wait to see what happens with that deal.
Tell him to ride more before this race, because he just thinks he can come off the couch and still.
Well, the problem is RJ's working the guy to the bone.
Yeah. So. Well, and the problem is he can't come off the couch and still go fast. So he's like, well, why do I need to practice? I can go fast without trying.
Exactly.
But that's for another discussion. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We greatly appreciate you and enjoy that. I think we've got one more that's going to come on and join in here real quick, and we'll jump on and figure it out. Got a lot of moving parts, Sugar Shane.
Are we gonna get Mr. Renner on here?
I think so. We'll try and get Mr. Ronnie Renner over here if we can, and first time for him being on the show too. And obviously the Renner family is again another good friend of mine, and we've got Florida native, man. Florida native.
That's great.
And
that's not Renner. Come on.
Throw these on?
Yeah, go ahead. Are you the GP master?
No, Canadian Moto.
Oh yeah.
Chest Pettis.
Pettis. So number 15.
Hold that up to you there, Pettis. There you go, man. So you come all the way down. You come all the way down to Dade City, Florida, ride a little day in the dirt down south, man. What do you think about it? Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, why not, right? Got to come from the snow up in the Great White North and come down for a day in the dirt. I'd like to say that's the main reason I came down, but down here training for our outdoor season.
Really?
Just prepping in Clermont, Florida. So
There you
not
go.
too far. I heard last week Day in the Dirt was close, and I was like, why not?
Right down the road, man.
Yeah, right down the road. RedBull event. First time here and loving it.
So tell me what you think. I mean, first time being here. I mean, is this just complete chaos with how much fun and excitement and everything that's going on here this weekend?
Oh, chaos is the best way to describe it, really. I could not believe it. I pulled in yesterday for practice, and I seen the amount of people here and the whole field. I'm like, wow, let's go. This is the real deal. So
Yeah.
it seems like all of Florida's out here, and I'm pretty stoked on it.
Yeah, and
no
I mean,
joke. There's a lot of people here.
and the amount of people outside of Florida. I mean, you mentioned it earlier in the
Yeah.
episode. I mean, when we were coming in the gate, I was sitting right behind somebody standing at the gate to come in, and I'm seeing like a Wisconsin a license plate on the back of somebody's motorhome, and I'm like, they drove all the way here to be here for this event. I remember talking to a couple of people last night. One of them was from Colorado. One of them was from Texas. That's thousands of miles. I mean, thousands.
Just for a single event.
Yeah, just to come down here and enjoy this event. I mean, I think it just shows that how much fun this place is and get to enjoy it. But for you being able to come down here, I mean, have you ever ridden a track like this? I mean, this is so different than anything that we get to do.
Oh, so different. I mean, I've always raced just the motocross and supercross. So, I thought, why not just mix it up? There's some good long motos, and it's not going to hurt me. So, come out here, and I'd say about 90% of the track is single track, off-road, rocks, dust, through the barn, a little bit of moto track. But yeah, it's a mix of all. But hey, man, I loved it. It's great, and yeah, we had fun out there today.
That's got to be good for the cardio. I mean, you're sitting out there doing, most of the races are between 30 and 40 minutes, and then even the team race. Were you able to do the team race, the switcheroo?
Yeah, not the switcheroo, but we did the Bossa Nova.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not sure if we won it or not. My teammate got second, I got third. We were up there.
Who'd you do it with?
Me, Tyler Medaglia, and then my teammate here, he's from France.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you guys went out there. You had a pretty good result then.
Yeah, we went, I think, 2-3, and I think he got 10th.
Okay.
And then I was able to get the win in the final pro moto of the day, so that was cool. And yeah, just out here, the vibe's great, track's fun.
Mixing it up on the hard road, you're going down the street on the hard road, just roasting the tires. Then you come in, you do a little bit of wood section, you got a little moto, you're going through some buildings up here. I mean, just such a mix of things. I mean, there's nothing like it.
Oh, for sure. I found out very quick yesterday in practice, first lap onto the concrete, slid out, did a 360. Landed on my hip. Didn't hurt too bad, but yeah, it's you got a mix of all of it. It's pretty cool. Not looking forward to changing my tires Monday morning, but that's another thing.
I did notice, like, I got here this morning and you were in a lot of motos today. And I was like, dude, this guy's getting it. Like, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You rode good today.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's cool, man. Well, it's super cool to have you here. And again, like you said, RedBull event, they're doing a great job. The whole, event as a structure has just been a phenomenal weekend so far. So while we've got you on here, anybody that you want to thank while you're on the episode?
Yeah, my whole team back in Canada, the KTM, RedBull Factory KTM team, Oakley Goggles, Fly Racing, WP Suspension, FMF, Renthal. Yeah, of course, RedBull for bringing me out here. The whole event, we'd love to come back and do it again. And yeah, we'll keep on keeping on.
Hey, so your plan for this summer is to race the whole outdoor series over here?
I'm scheduled to race the whole Canadian Nationals.
Oh, the Canadian Nationals, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were making your way down here.
I'd like to, yeah. I'm feeling pretty good lately, so I'd like to do the first couple AMA National. That's all I'm allowed with when our season starts.
Of course, yeah.
And then I think I could do 3 or 4 at the end of the season. So
oh, nice.
We'll try and throw it in the mix and have some fun.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Well, it's so good to have you here, and we greatly appreciate you joining us on the episode, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the night tonight and the rest of the weekend and the rest of the event. We still got more racing to go tomorrow, so good to have you here, and we enjoy having you here, and good luck to the rest of it.
Good luck this season, Have a good time up there, buddy.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, we'll see you tomorrow.
No worries.
Bye. That's cool, man. That people are traveling from outside the country just to come down here and
That's
race.
insane. That's amazing to me.
And that guy right there. Listen, I've never met him, but that guy hauls the mail.
So how about we bring somebody in that's not outside of the country, not even outside of the state. We get one of our good friends, known him for forever, Mr. Ronnie Renner.
Hi. Does that make me old if you know me forever? Because forever is a long time.
Well, you and I, you know, being a Florida native here, this one's not too far from home for you now. So to be able to be here, and I mean, obviously your success in your career, traveling the whole country, the whole world, and doing everything that you've done, it's got to be nice to have something close to home. Such a fun event, cool event for everybody.
Oh yeah, I sing the praises for Dade City everywhere I go. It's where I was born and raised, basically Pasco County. This was the spot. This is where I practice. This is where I practice for Supercross Thursday nights. Get on the road the next day to Supercross. Like, I don't know if I was just broke or didn't know any better or what, but yeah, you know, to see RC and James Stewart, Hampshire, Hadsel, my brother, like, man, cool. Cool to see the talent that's came through this place. I don't know if I fit in there anyway. It's a kind of a weird path I took, but Kenny Yoho, we got into it. Yeah, like freestyle, putting on shows out here, like a lot of history, you know, dating back to when I was 4 years old.
Oh yeah, well I remember being here when I was a kid and even growing up through it and doing some of the announcing and the things that I did, and you would come in and do, you know, Randy does the pumpkin race, you know, the things, or the Halloween every year.
Yeah, Halloween.
Right. You would always come in and do a freestyle show and bring your stuff. I mean, that was unreal for me at that time, and even now seeing you, it's like, man, you're someone I've always looked up to and everything that you've done. But, you know, talk about being here at the event and the difference of this event versus some of the other stuff that you've done. I mean, we called it chaos earlier, but it's a good chaos. It's a fun chaos.
Yeah, I guess it's a good time to remind people. This is my Day in the Dirt wasn't my idea, but I lived in California. Troy Lee Crew, Kenny Alexander, they were tight back in the day, would bring me out. Always like take great care of us. Love the vibe. And I'm like, man, Florida doesn't have anything like that. And it was always in my, you know, my play set was going to be moved back to Florida eventually. And I think it goes back to 2011. I was trying to link this up because I wanted to see something like that happen here. Yeah. And finally the stars aligned right when the right people started communicating. And before you know it, Hayes with RedBull, Randy Yoho, Kenny Alexander, they're all chatting, and it became a reality. So I totally saw the potential of it, all the way down to the details of the barn. Yeah. And it's wild. It's blowing me away to see the response, to see the crowd, to see the turnout actually exceed California's turnouts in just 3 years. Yeah. Like, this is the place to be, and it's wild. Now the track, all that stuff, it is MC hammered with that many people on there. And I've been off the bike for 6 months fighting some real people stuff, stomach issues. And I got these palm olive hands going right now. Like, 5 minute lap time feels like that's basically a moto at a Florida race, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good time. People are getting some rude awakenings out there for sure. Well, the funniest thing, I'm sorry, I'll get all long-winded. I get psyched about this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like, the funny part to me is about Day in the Dirt. It brings people out of the woodwork. I'm getting calls, hey man, I think I'm gonna do Day in the Dirt. I'm like, you haven't rode in like 5 years. You're picking the roughest race. You're like 50 years old. I know people that went and bought bikes this week just to race this. They're going to ride a stock bike, not broken in, on the roughest track they've ever seen in their life. Yep. Just to have a good time. So there's something special about that.
Oh, man, we talked about earlier over at the semi. We were sitting there talking about next year. I've committed to next year, and I've already made a deal with one of the guys on our team, Brian, and I said, man, we are going to go get a vintage bike, and I am racing this event next year in the vintage class.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
I'm doing it. Okay. And we were here year one, you know, when we did the practice, and then, you know, unfortunately with the COVID situation, we ended up getting shut down a little early. But to see this event evolve the way it has, Ronnie, I mean, from year one, obviously we had the hiccup with the COVID situation, but then you look at today, I mean, the parking lot is absolutely full. I mean, there is nowhere to even park a vehicle all the way down to the entry gate. There are so many people here, and it's got to be exciting to see, you know, the event grow, but also that's the sport as a whole. I mean, if the event is growing, the sport is growing, and I think it's exciting to see, you know, all those people show up.
We needed this on the East Coast. You know, growing up here and then becoming a freestyle rider, I value the importance of having a good time. Now, I'm a big advocate for partying responsibly and a time and a place and stuff like that. So to balance that party meets riding motorcycle thing, you really got to be, you know, smart about that. And I would sit here and, you know, probably sound like an old grandpa if I preached to some of these people. Like, dude, you don't want to be going out there in the wrong state of mind. It's still dangerous. You can still get hurt if you feel invincible, whatever. So you got to find the good balance with that. Don't get me wrong, but to see this many people fired up, and you know, it's a brotherhood, it's a family here, and to see it growing like this, to see from every ounce of this property being utilized that I grew up at it. It's awesome to watch.
And what's insane is it's happening in Dade City.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, where we all.
There's a lot of tracks on the East Coast, but it's in Dade City, and that's to me that's.
I knew it. I had a feeling. I'm not trying to. It's not really about me getting credit for this, but
take credit.
It's freaking wild to have a vision and say like, I've made out with girls in that barn over there back in the day when I was like 13 years old or something. So I've got history. I know this place in and out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could see bikes running through that barn just like they do at, out west at Glen Helen. They'll find a barn to go through or something, or tunnels and things like that.
Yeah.
That field right there. I watched fireworks show at the county fair at that thing.
Yep.
Like, you can park enough there. I know you can run the track back here. That road next to it kind of got put in a couple years ago. I'm like, totally can see all the elements that made Day in the Dirt out west cool working here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see it really at any other track in Florida.
Yeah.
And,
I agree with that completely. I mean, I think you're spot on. There's so many different elements of it, and even this year, bringing in the wood section in the back, that is such a cool element that they added this year. And bring in a little wood section to just add an additional. You've got the hard road, you've got the moto, you've got the buildings, and now adding the woods in. I mean,
I like how you say that when you're not riding this year.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a great idea until about the third lap. Like, who freaking put these rollers out here and these whoops? If I wanted to do this, I'd go to Croom.
Well,
I got my Croom sticker.
I like the little S-turns that Randy put in over here in the field too. He said he wanted to make that like a single Croom trail like through that field area, but still super exciting. But Ronnie, talk about you. What do you got coming up? I mean, you're doing a bunch of different things. You mentioned the not necessarily an injury, but you're going through some things right now with the stomach, and you're getting back on the bike. What'd you say it was 6 months off the bike?
Well, I'm on the up and up. For 2 years in a row, I was trying to go to Loretta's. I love racing more than anything. I made my name freestyle and free riding, but I grew up racing. I was racing money classes with Ricky Hampshire here and Kenny Yoho, and long list of names, all battling for $100 back in the day, and then go try to race a national the next day and fail at that. So my history of racing is a roller coaster ride, and then freestyle is what lit it all up. But it's still, man, no better feeling than winning a motorcycle race. No better feeling than ripping a hole shot, airing a jump out, and that's where freestyle started. Really, was whipping when you won the race. So it's still in my blood. I still miss it. I never got a Loretta Lynch championship, and that's been like on my list of to-dos. And quick little back history. I never got a national point. I got 21st before, which is one off from getting a point.
Yep.
I got 5th in the LCQ, or 6th a couple times. Never got in Supercross main event, but I made the night shows. So AMA, I'm legal to race the sportsman class, which anyone that's a vet rider knows that's how you avoid Mike Brown, which is the number one goal of any vet rider, is to avoid Mike Brown on the starting gate.
That guy, for
Because
sure.
you might as well just say you're getting second.
Yeah.
And I could race plus 40 sportsman 2 years ago. I got the Rona the same week that I was loading to go. Like, it wiped me out. You can only run on Dayquil so many days in a row while you're trying to load for a camping trip.
Yeah.
This past year, I was getting these wild stomach cramps, fighting it off, started turning into fevers with stomach cramps. I'm running 20-minute motos. Like, I'll deal with it after Loretta's, but the last week it wiped me out, ended up in the ER, got a thing called diverticulitis.
Yep.
So stomach they went into me, cut me up, 5 months of, I wouldn't say I was on the couch, I'd be lying. I was still doing things and being dumb, but choosing my battles wisely.
Yeah.
January, they put me back together, and I would say I'm not fully healed. Been on the bike like 2 or 3 times with small, quick motos, and then decided to really go all in here at Day in the Dirt and do 30-minute motos, and signed up for the coup de grace, but I think I'm going to pull the ripcord on that one. My hands won't, there's no way I'll be able to hang on, and I don't want to be a liability out there. So I've got a new deal with CF Moto. If anybody knows my program, with age comes a roll cage, 45 years old. I did a lot of stuff with Polaris Razor back in the day, and got the side-by-side bug. Rip those things on my moto track, jump about any jump. I'll jump on a dirt bike and a UTV, which is pretty wild and cool.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it on the social media stuff, man. That stuff's crazy.
And CF Moto came into my life. I've kind of been chilling the last couple of years with not really sure what to do, scratching my head. X Games, quit doing step up. I wanted to go back and try to win one more of those before I retired. And I guess that's probably not going to happen. So this CF Moto deal came in my lap, and they got motorcycles, like street bikes, not dirt bikes. I'll still be riding KTM motorcycles in the track and free ride. But they got street bike line, side-by-sides, a lot of cool stuff in the works. They flew me up to Minnesota. I liked what I saw. So I got a couple years with them that's shaping up to be really good, and they'll have me on all types of bikes, all types of travels. So that's really good. Maxxis tires, same thing. Providing all my vehicles with stuff to hit the road and go have a good time.
Man, that sounds super exciting, though. I mean, just to have those different opportunities and go to different venues and do it on different things. I mean, how fun is that and exciting?
Well, I owe a lot to mountain bikes, side-by-sides, and whenever I don't get too gung-ho on the training riders. You know, that's always the back pocket for a pro rider is like maybe train kids down the way. It's very rewarding if you get the right crew.
Yeah.
I try to avoid those mini parents the best I can, though. I mean, they're pretty crazy sometimes. But I love living the dream, man. If you're getting paid to play is the #1 goal, I can recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to, you know, it's a passionate hobby, enthusiast oriented sport here where everybody's trying to figure out a way to be in the industry and get paid. So if they'll pay me to drive and ride things, I'm going to rock it till the wheels fall off. And side-by-sides are a good time, you know. It's not my first love. I compare everything to moto. It don't matter if I'm mountain biking or doing that. But what I was getting to is that's why I'm 45 and I still, you know, I love Randy Richardson. I'm going to be his first sponsored Teen Citizen rider.
Yeah.
Because I love that mentality. I refuse to grow up. I can be responsible. I can be a dad. I can show my kids how to live. But growing up, that's for the birds. I'm going to go have fun, have a good time.
No, I agree with that completely. And it's enjoyable to see you go through all that stuff too. And, you know, it's exciting to give other people, including us, you know, the ability to see something like that go on. Maybe we could even do a little side-by-side race in here.
Always room for it.
Maybe we convince Randy.
Pretty spectacular. All you got to do with Randy is tell him there's money involved.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna be like, you better check with Randy, but if there's money involved, he's all about it.
He's let me do I put on a few side-by-side days here with him, and you would not believe how much they tear up the track. You think people get pissed at quads? Go ahead and put a couple side-by-sides on that track. They will run some ruts, man. Yeah. It's like they have to do every 2 hours, like go and groom the whole track because the ruts are like to the frame. It's wild.
I would love to see it just because I want to do it. I think it's fun. I love riding side-by-sides, and maybe one day we can connect on an event and go do something there. But Ronnie, as always, man, it's super cool to have you and the whole Renner family. I mean, you guys, you have such a good name in Florida and everything that you've done in your career, and enjoy having you on the episode and being here this weekend for the Day in the Dirt Down South event.
Appreciate it.
So
yeah, no better place to be than at the races on the weekend, if you ask me. And I've got my kids here hanging out right behind the camera.
How old are the kids now?
Proudest moment of these kids. Jet's 10, Chloe's 13. Two-stroke reunion race or whatever came by, all 2 strokes.
Yep.
And I go, how's that smell? And Chloe's like, it's in our DNA, man. Sucking fumes at Dade City Raceway since I was 4 years old. It is in my kids' DNA. It'll be in their kids' DNA. Keep the 2 strokes going, baby.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's always good to have you on the episode.
Thank you.
And we truly enjoy it, man. Thank you so much,
thanks,
Ronnie.
and good luck to your future, buddy.
I'm out. Boom.
All right, you're out.
Appreciate it.
Well, I think we got one more jumping in here with us. We talked about these the vintage races, and we talked about the things that we get to do with the different classes. And it's always so much fun because you see the different things like going out there on the track. But then
He's got his ratio right.
But then you get this guy, Mr. Randy Richardson himself, coming up here. I felt like there was a moment this morning, Randy, when I was watching that you never came off the track.
I did do the first 2 races. That vintage race was silky smooth, kind of like I was last night on the dance floor, silky smooth. And then, and I'll tell you what, I went back to back, went out there on the 2-stroke race on the old 75 Husky 250. It started getting worse and more choppy. And I'll tell you what, before the day was over, man, it was survival out there. Yeah. Survival.
So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the vintage race, which obviously the Husky, I mean, that's such a super cool bike, you know, to see you guys out there ripping on that thing. And you go on that thing pretty good now. I mean, throwing some wheelies out there where you can, and next thing I know, the next race drops, and you're out there again.
Yeah, for me, you know, I'm all about a good time, and I love the wheelies. You know, what RedBull has done here at Day in the Dirt Down South has created an amazing atmosphere. I'm an old guy. I'm 4016, so 4016. kind of 56, but 4016. And then, you know, for me, it's like the Lake Elsinore Grand Prix or something like that, to where bikes are out on the road. It's what they're showing here in the Red Bull hospitality area, these old vintage races. And it's out on the pavement. We go through the barn. It's on a moto track. It's in a grass field. And it's just 6 minutes of fun, you know, lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, how about throwing in the wood section this year, though? A little bit different. That, you know, usually you always have the hard road, you have the moto, you got the buildings, but then they throw in the woods. How'd that
You know
work?
what? I love that. I was just talking with some of the guys from Red Bull after the event. They were getting my input on it, and no man's land, as it's called, is rough. But when you go back in those woods, and it is just like, I'm telling you what, you could go park Volkswagens in some of those holes back there. It's just deep.
Did you see any concrete back there?
Oh, yeah, I saw concrete, and I'm going to tell you what, with the prices of building supplies nowadays, I may go back in there and take some of the old chimney parts and some foundations back there and start building a new house.
They must have buried some old like warehouses or buildings or something back there, because there's some concrete back there, boys.
Hey, there's a warehouse full of fun every day here at Red Bull Day in the Down South.
Now, Randy, not many people can see it, but if you turn your head to the right, if you look towards Shane, you got to tell me about this cut here that looks like you need about 4 stitches.
I saw that when you were walking around. I'm like, what the heck happened to his neck?
So the third race of the day for me was the old switcheroo, and my buddy and I, we're gonna battle with my other buddies, and for us, that's just bragging rights, right? Like I'm old enough that I don't worry about where I finish overall, but if me and my buddy could beat our other two buddies, that gives us a year worth of smack talk, right? So the gate drops, we take off, and I rip around there and being cautious, you know, and all of a sudden, 3 guys just wadded up, and I drove straight into them, and I thought I broke my wrist, but I'm good. It threw me over the bars and into the next 2 people that were crashed, and my neck went into the, I don't know, swing arm, foot peg area or whatever. So a little bit of a panic.
It looks like it went into the sprocket.
It could have been sprocket. No, it was definitely. Honestly, it could have been rotor. Now that you mention it, it's probably rotor because it's a clean cut. And they said that the best thing to do is rinse it out with alcohol, and that's what I'm doing. I got a little Red Bull and vodka, 32 to fun, and rinsing it right out.
That's right.
32 to fun, just like the 40 to 16 ratio, man.
Exactly right.
We're always working on something. But Randy, I know you get to go to a lot of events. Did you not this past week? Were you doing the vintage over in Daytona?
Yeah. So I raced Tuesday over at Daytona, the Ricky Carmichael, amateur Supercross, and they're nice enough to have vintage races there, which I love it. For me, I have modern bikes, and I've been riding for 52 years now. But the vintage stuff is just so cool. The bikes are so simple, and honestly, in those in that 2-stroke race today, I had a great battle with some guys on some modern 2-strokes, and I was just laughing, thinking, your parents probably spent a lot of money on ignition mapping and suspension that is wasted, right? Because if this old guy with 4 inches of travel is working you, trust me, mom, dad, invest in their college funds, not suspension.
Yeah, because they don't, you can have all that stuff all you want. If you're not the guy like this guy is, you're not going anywhere. Well, Randy, this guy's on 4 inches of travel.
We talked about earlier, Brian and I, one of the guys over at the semi, and I said I am going to commit to this event next year. I've ridden it before on modern bikes like you're talking about, but I'm not riding this year. And next year I will commit to doing it on a vintage bike. But my question for you, with having a vintage bike, how hard is it to get parts and get that thing and keep it running?
That's the tough part, because like for me, I have a slew of 75 and 77 Husqvarnas, and some parts are kind of easy to find. Ventco does a great job of making replacements, rod kits and pistons and things, but one of my bikes, I was down for 8 months waiting to find a replacement cylinder. I had one go out at a vintage race at Muddy Creek, but I would definitely research that. There's some really cool modern bikes that parts are still readily available, and I would recommend you find that. That way you don't kind of paint yourself in a corner if something goes bad. But
so when you're doing the vintage stuff, like even over at Daytona and here this weekend, what is the definition or the rules for a vintage bike?
Okay, so normally like ARMA, which is a Historic Racing Association, so ARMA has vintage, which is up to 1975, and then I think after that they go Evolution or Evolution 1, which I think goes up to the early 80s. You can have a disc on the front, but you have to have drum rear brake.
On the rear.
Then you go to Evolution 2, which is disc disc on front and rear.
There's a lot of rules with that stuff.
Which
There's
is
a lot of
up
rules.
to 89, right? And then
Yeah, I think so,
you have pre-mod, which pre-modern is anything over 20 years old.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And then,
So if you were going to race vintage here, you would have to have, is it a 75 or older?
well, no, they have the classes broken up a bit. I think.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. You know what I do? I just run what I bring, and I have
Whatever
a good time.
class it
Right?
fits in, just run it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no offense if I hurt your feelings out there today, and you're on a nice new fancy bike. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
Hey, don't be sorry. You did great.
Well, Randy, we enjoy having you. It's such a fun guy to be around. Even out here socializing with everybody and watching you out there do work on that 75 Husky, and it's super exciting. And we're so grateful to have you. Tell me about the people that you want to thank for being on the episode and the people that get you down here.
For me, first and foremost, I want to thank RedBull and Dade City Motocross and to putting on Day in the Dirt down south. If you have not made it to this event, I've been here every year thus far, and it's already on my calendar for next year. So for me, first and foremost, senior citizen. That's my brand. I'm going to stay young at heart, right? So we don't have to grow old. We don't even have to grow up, right? We can be kids. That's the main thing. And my mom and dad, who blessed me with a dirt bike for my 4th birthday. They saved up money they probably didn't have to buy me a dirt bike that I'm getting choked up. It really changed my life. So
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of that. Yep.
And still out here knocking them out, just one moto after the next.
Absolutely.
Just hammering
Absolutely.
down.
And speaking of doing work, that's what I got to do on the old vintage bike now. Go wash it up, change an air filter, change some oil, and then and be ready first thing in the morning.
That's awesome. I'm glad dirt bikes define your life, buddy.
Absolutely, buddy.
That's awesome.
We're blessed. We're blessed.
No,
Thank you.
that's super cool, man. Well, we enjoy having you here, and again, everybody at Dade City Motocross, the RedBull, can't thank them enough for bringing this event to the Day in the Dirt down south and everything they've got going here. I mean, multiple years in a row, we watch it evolve and we watch it grow year after year after year, and it's so exciting in everything that has going on here. But anybody that wants to check us out, obviously make sure you look at Future Motocross Radio. You can see us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, directly on our YouTube channel or our website, futuremotocross.com. And we enjoy having you, Randy, but we're going to wrap it up here, episode number 24. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We get to go have some fun.
Oh, and if you can find fun, you'll find me right in the middle of it.
That's where we're going.
Randy's ready. Let's go.
All right. See you, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.